From the KATC Weather Lab, here's Rob's forecast.
Welcome back and welcome to the weekend. It's going to be a busy weekend for those in the Caribbean and perhaps Florida preparing for a potential hurricane, maybe even a major hurricane by early next week. Meanwhile, we're going to be dominated by a ridge of high pressure that's going to keep us high and dry and hot. We're watching two troughs, one that's picking up Fiona and pulling it into the Canadian Maritimes, and this upper level trough will be the ultimate guider, hopefully, of the next tropical system now named Ian. So we have this hot ridge of high pressure. It's going to be in the mid-90s again tomorrow. That's where it's been the last couple of days. And with that, we did see an isolated shower or two on power Doppler 3 today, and we're still picking up on an isolated shower down south of Intracoastal City, drifting to the west and dying of loneliness down in the coastal marsh. Should be a quiet night for the rest of the night, and we'll see a few showers dotting the area tomorrow. Better rain chances on Sunday, but no higher than about 20%. So here's Fiona. It's no longer officially a hurricane, but look at this thing racing to the north, but it's going to bring hurricane-like conditions to portions of, and it's starting to do that right now, eastern Nova Scotia, and then eventually Newfoundland and the Canadian Maritimes farther to the north. So bad system here. 105 mile per hour winds still with this particular storm, even though it's not officially a hurricane anymore. And then we have two other tropical storms, Gaston in the North Atlantic, 60 mile an hour winds, Hermine, 40 mile per hour winds, another area that we'll keep an eye on, but no concerns for right now. And the big story is going to be and continue to be Tropical Storm Ian, Tropical Depression number 9, getting upgraded a little bit later today, thus getting the name Ian instead of Hermine, and that's what we were talking about over the last couple of days. Not very organized. The low-level circulation is east of where we're seeing the convection, so the low is over here. That's where the tropical storm is, 40 mile per hour winds. It's moving a little bit more slowly. And notice we do have Jamaica here under a tropical storm watch, and then hurricane warnings here for the Cayman Islands, so they could get hit pretty hard. Notice the track goes right over the Cayman Islands. Western Cuba is at least a category 2, and then 3, and maybe a little bit stronger somewhere in the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. Landfall, we think, sometime between Tuesday, Wednesday, somewhere between Fort Myers and Tampa, but this is going to change as it always does. And what we'll be watching is this is going to be going over warm water in a low shear environment. So the estimates for a hurricane and maybe a Cat 2 may be underdone just because of the hot water temperatures. They're in the 80s mostly across that part of the world. And the problem that we have is that a lot of this hot water is deep. It goes 500 feet down. So rapid intensification certainly possible prior to Cuba and then again prior to the U.S. So this is going to be a pretty tough storm to watch and forecast because you know somebody's going to get hurt by it. So moving across the Cayman Islands, this is the European model, which closely models the hurricane center, but is a little bit east of the guidance, bringing the storm into Fort Myers and then on up and gets captured by an upper level trough that's moving on in. And then the GFS model a little bit more west of that and a little bit slower and a more intense storm hitting closer to the Florida Panhandle. That doesn't mean Louisiana's in the mix. Our chance of seeing this are pretty close to zero, but they're not zero, so we always have to watch these things as they move along. And what we'll be watching is this upper level trough that's going to be digging down into the southeast U.S. That should pick up any tropical system and scoot it off, hopefully off to the north and northeast and keep it away from us. But timing is everything in the weather business, so we'll see how it plays out for our friends, especially to the east. Overnight tonight, mid-70s your low. Tomorrow, mid-90s. As we head into Sunday, we're going to see more sunshine, a few more spotty showers, and here comes the much-awaited cool front. That gets here for Monday morning, so great-looking weather on the way. Got to put up with another hot weekend, mid-90s. Still lower 90s Monday, but cooling off as we head into Monday night, and then beautiful, spectacular weather Tuesday through next Friday with highs in the low to mid-80s, and more importantly, refreshing morning lows getting down into the upper 50s to lower 60s. Fingers crossed. That's it for weather for right now. We'll be right back right after this.